Hi, welcome to Ikate's Crossing as we continue our exploration of the new Mythic Tarot. Okay, so we've done the Major Arcana and we've looked at the cups. So we really want to look at the wands. So let's take a moment to take a breath and just listen to a little bit of, I just want to share a little bit of information from the book. You can definitely, if you buy the tarot deck yourself with the guidebook, you can definitely dive into it a lot more. But I just want to share a little bit so you can sort of get an idea with the suits of wands. Right, the numbered cards. The story of Jason and Argonauts and their expedition to seek the Golden Fleece is a characteristically heroic tale full of adventure and courageous journeying into the unknown. Because the story is really a quest where the hero must rely on faculties other than will and rational thought, it may be seen as a portrayal of the creative imagination and its mysterious power to move events and provide solutions from inner levels that elude our conscious understanding. Thus, the story of Jason is a specialized adventure which circles around the central motive of the human imagination. The origin of the Golden Fleece, the magical goal of Jason's quest, was this: Phrixus and Hela, the two children of Athamas and Aeolin, who hated by their stepmother Ino, their very lives were threatened, and they fled mounted on a fabulous ram, which was the gift of Zeus, king of the gods. This ram was endowed with reason and speech. It had a fleece of gold and would move through the air as well as it could over the earth. In the course of their flight, Hell fell into the sea, which was thereafter called the Hellespont. Phrixus was luckier and reached Colchis on the Black Sea. There he sacrificed the ram to his protector Zeus and offered its fleece to the king of the country, Aeetes, who hung it from a tree and set a dragon who never slept to guard it. Meanwhile, at Iolcus in Thessaly reigned King Peleus, who had wrenched the throne from his brother Aeson. Aeson's son Jason had been confided to the care of the centaur Chiron when a baby to protect him from the wrath of his usurping uncle Peleus. Chiron eventually made known to the child grown to manhood the secret of his origin, and Jason went to his uncle and demanded rule of the kingdom according to his right. Peleus was frightened, for an oracle had warned him of a man wearing one sandal, and this Jason had appeared with only one foot shod, having lost the other sandal while crossing the river. Therefore, Peleus promised Jason that he would willingly comply with his demand, but that he had one small request to make: that Jason go to Colchis on the Black Sea and bring back the Golden Fleece, which properly belonged to Zeus at Zeus's sanctuary in Ilkos. So Jason proceeded to build a ship with 50 oars, the Argo in which he had set a bow of the prophetic oath of Zeus from Dodona. He gathered together the most famous heroes, among whom were Castor and Polydeuces, the warrior twins, Hercules, Orpheus the singer, and King Theseus of Athens. Then the hardy adventurers set forth in search of the fabled Golden Fleece. Their voyage was full of incident, and they were forced to struggle against monsters and men, as well as against the elements. Finally, they reached the kingdom of Aeetes, where the fleece was kept. Luckily for Jason, King Aeetes' daughter, the sorceress Medea, fell in love with him and helped him to vanquish the dragon, which guarded the precious trophy. King Aeetes tried to stop the escaping Argonauts with the ferocious soldiers who sprang from the teeth of the dragon that Jason had slain, but the heroes managed to sail off in their ship, Argo, with Aeetes in hot pursuit. Medea, who had accompanied Jason, was, however, not averse to stopping her father from the most brutal means, and cut up her brother Absiritus and scattered the pieces of his body across the water. In grief, Aeetes called his fleet to stop and gather up the dismembered body of the heir, and Jason and his crew now had clear sailing back to Iolcos. This return voyage, however, proved to be as perilous as the outgoing one, and Jason and his crew once again had to sail through the terrible clashing rocks at the north end of the Bosphorus, which could crush a ship, and which had stood between him and safe harbour. At last he reached Iolcos with the Golden Fleece. There he discovered that Peleus had put his father Aeson to death, being certain that Jason would never return from the hazardous voyage. Jason avenged himself on his uncle through Medea, who, with her magic spells, charmed Peleus' daughter into murdering him. After this, Jason reigned as king of Iolcos, but his victory had perhaps gone to his head, for unsatisfied with one kingship he sought another, the crown of Corinth, by marrying Creusa, the daughter of Corinth's king Creon. This understandably angered Medea, who had avenged herself by murdering not only Creusa but the children she had borne Jason as well. As for Jason, some say that he grew weary of life and found the kingship of Iolcos a burden. As an old man, forever looking back to the days of his glory, he sat dreaming in the shade of the rotting hulk of the Argo, and the poop fell on him and crushed him to death. Wow, interesting. So let's have a look. So we look at just to sort of see, you can see the story here. So this first card here, Ace of Wands. The card of the Ace of Wands portrays a powerfully built, mature man with auburn hair and beard, crowned with gold and robed in imperial purple. He stands regally before a landscape of high snow-capped peaks. Over one shoulder is draped the golden fleece of a ram. In his right hand he holds the globe of the world. In his left hand he bears a flaming wand. So this, in the Ace of Wands, we again meet Zeus, king of the gods, the initiator and moving power behind the tale of Jason and the Golden Fleece. So interesting. So that's what we start with here. Okay, so Two of Wands we look at. Okay, the card of the Two of Wands portrays the young Jason standing before the centaur Chiron's cave, poised before he sets out on his journey to reclaim his inheritance. Chiron is dimly visible in the darkness of the cave. Jason, clothed in a scarlet tunic, grips two flaming wands firmly in his hand. So you can see that. Okay, I'm just going to continue here with number 3. Right, Three of Wands. The card of the Three of Wands portrays Jason newly arrived at the city of Arcos. He wears only one sandal, having lost the other as he crossed the river, thereby confirming the oracle which has prophesied his advent. He stands triumphantly holding in his right hand 3 flaming wands. At his feet kneels the usurper, King Peleus, black-haired and black-bearded, dressed in royal purple and offering with apparent humility the golden crown which he has unlawfully stolen. Okay, so the Four of Wands. The card of Four of Wands portrays Jason celebrating with his shipmates after the building of the great ship Argo, which will carry them on their voyage to Colchis to find the Golden Fleece. The ship, decked with scarlet sails bearing the emblem of a golden sunburst, waits on the tide. Around the scarlet fig-clad figure of Jason stand 5 of his heroic companions. So we talked about Hercules, King of Athens, Castor and Polydeuces, the warrior twins, and then Orpheus the singer. Okay, and you'll meet those in other cards as well. Right, 5 of Wands. The card of the 5 of Wands portrays Jason's battle with the dragon which guards the Golden Fleece. The dragon, huge and covered in greenish scales, belches fire from its mouth, while it clutches the precious fleece in his claws. Jason fights the beast using 2 flaming wands. Beside him stands his lover and helper, the sorceress Medea, the daughter of King Aeetes of Colchis, in whose possession the fleece has lain. She is beautiful and black-haired, garbed in a flame-coloured gown, and carries 3 flaming wands. Okay, next we have 6 of Wands. The card of 6 of Wands portrays Jason victorious after his battle with the dragon. The hero holds the Golden Fleece aloft in triumph. Behind him, 6 of his hero companions stand cheering, each bearing a flaming wand. Okay, so 7 talks about, let's have a look, 7. The card of the Seven of Wands portrays Jason's battle with King Aetus of Colchis, which he must win in order to bring the Golden Fleece back to Alcus. Jason, holding 2 flaming wands, struggles with the king, who is dressed in a flame-coloured robe and holds a flaming wand. 2 of Jason's hero companions, Hercules and Theseus, battle with 2 of the king's armoured warriors, who have sprung from the dragon's teeth. The 2 heroes and the 2 Colchian warriors all bear flaming wands. Okay, next we've got the 8 of Wands, which is about movement. Right, the card of 8 of Wands portrays Jason's voyage away from Colchis after his safe escape from the angry King Aetus. We see the ship Argo in full sail with 8 flaming wands lined up upon its deck, streaming fire into the wind. Dolphins play among the waves along the ship. Sorry, I lost it. 9 of Wands. The card of 9 of Wands portrays the final struggle of Jason and his Argonauts before the goal is reached. The passage through the clashing rocks. In the distance, the city of Alcos can be seen, with 9 flaming wands beckoning on the shore. Around the city, the sea is calm. The ship Argo passes with tattered sails between the threatening rocks, not yet safely out the other side. Around the ship, a storm rages and the sea is turbulent. Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, number 10. Right, 10 of Wands. The card of the 10 of Wands portrays Jason sitting wearily before the beached wreck of the Argo. He has returned triumphant to Alcos, and we see him dressed in kingly scarlet robes and wearing a golden crown. The golden fleece lies at his feet. He is bowed down by the heavy weight of the 10 flaming wands which lie across his back and soldiers. Right, now we go into the court card. So we've got the Page of Wands. The card of the Page of Wands portrays a boy of around 12 years of age with curling auburn hair and wearing a pale orange tunic. He rides on the back of a golden fleeced ram which flies over the yellow and green fields and streams. The boy holds a flaming wand which leaves a trail of fire in its wake. Ahead of him is a rising sun which casts a vivid orange glow over the landscape. So this is embodied in the mythic figure of 3-6. Okay, interesting. Okay, next. Knight of Wands. Okay, the Knight of Wands. The card of Knight of Wands portrays an exuberant, flamboyant young man wearing a scarlet tunic and gold armor and helmet. He rides on a winged horse. A quiver of arrows is slung over his shoulder, and in his hand he holds a flaming wand. The white horse is flying upwards through the air, while below on the ochre-coloured earth lies a dead monster which has been slain by the young man's arrow. The beast has the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and a serpent's tail. Right, next we've got the Queen of Wands. The card of the Queen of Wands portrays a beautiful, radiant woman with rich auburn hair, dressed in a saffron-coloured robe and wearing a golden crown. She is seated on a golden throne that has arms carved with lion's head, and at her feet on a golden chain lies a sleepy lioness. In the woman's hand is a flaming wand. Around her stretches a landscape of rich green and gold fields under a vivid blue sky. Okay, the last card we've got here is the King of Wands. Okay, the King of Wands. The card of the King of Wands portrays a handsome, fiery man with curling chestnut hair. He is clad in a rich crimson robe and a golden crown, and is seated on a golden throne that has arms carved with golden names, ram's head. In his hand he holds a flaming wand. Around him are vivid green fields in which a ram can be seen, poised with its head held high. Behind him rise the white pillars and porticos of a beautiful city crowned with an acropolis. So this is the King Theseus of Athens. So interesting to look at the story or the legend of of the Golden Fleece. So that's what that's about, that Golden Fleece journey. So let's have a look. What card are we going to reflect? Oh, that flew out. We're going to reflect on the Two of Wands. Now, Two of Wands to me is very much about choices, taking a pause for a moment to think about the choices that you have ahead of you. The world's your oyster. Anything's absolutely possible. It's all down to the choices that you choose to make in this time. Now, let's have a look and see what it actually says in the book to think about. So this is what we're going to reflect on today. So I'm not going to go through the story and all that. I just want to put it on a divinatory level. The Two of Wands heralds the formulation of a new aim, idea, goal, or creative project. This new idea may not be the final shape of the future, but it is full of potential and sufficient to lure the individual out of his or her present confines into a new creative venture. Everything here depends upon the courage of the individual to take the new idea up with both hands and to put faith in that invisible creative power which has generated the vision of the new path. Okay, so that's today's card to think about. We've looked at what the Wands, the story is about, the Jason and the Golden Fleece. So that's an interesting story. Now, today's one was all about the path ahead. So take a moment to reflect. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.